Another episode of Bullish Chips, where we talk about chips and only chips. More specifically, the Direxion triple leveraged semiconductor bullish ETF, which goes by the ticker symbol of SOXL. Make sure you're following us on X at Bullish Chips. And we also want to take this time to remind you that we are not financial advisors. We do not offer financial advice. What we do offer is our view of the price action for SOXL, not only in the current day as well as the past price action, but what we think the future price action will look like as well for SOXL. So let's start the day off. Start the video off with looking at the week chart. Today is Thursday, July 17th. Coming to the end of the options expiration week. Options expiration being tomorrow, July 18th. We're looking at the candle structure for the week, and we've got yet another green candle, as we discussed, the seventh green candle, green weekly candle in a row. We are, starting to get a little bit more sideways action than just straight upwards action like we were getting in these first few weeks. We are still within last week's range as far as our closing price today, 27.32, but we are up from yesterday's close just barely, and it looks like in after hours we're up as well. So we've got some earnings in the morning, as well as some economic numbers to be released. So still kind of just keeping our eye on the fact that we are in this kind of resistance area with 3 or 4 different markers, depending on how you want to look at it. We've got this monthly downtrend line that we've had here for a while. We've got the weekly broadening formation that we've been just basically running on top of for the past 3 weeks, and we've got the year flip here at 28.13. So price action above this level flips the year back green. If we look at the upper left hand part of the page, we can see the week is green, the month is green, the quarter is green. The only thing that is not green is the year. So if we flip the green year, or the year green, we get full time frame continuity to the upside, which is definitely a bullish marker. But we can see here that we've got the 200-day moving average above the 50-day moving average, which technically is more of a bearish signal, but they are relatively close. 50 does still appear to be moving up ever so slightly, so looking for some type of cross back to where the 50 would be back above the 200. Again, kind of playing here within the monthly downtrend line, the weekly broadening, and the year flip. So it's another reason why we're not swinging a lot of contracts short term, overnight. We've got plenty of August, September, November, and 2026 and 2027 calls that we're swinging with plenty of time, but we're getting back to the top of kind of a range. We've made this almost 100% retracement of the drop that we had, leading us to the April 7th low. At inflection points, you tend to kind of see which way we're going to go before really loading up again. Are we going to just peak above how we have here and then push back down for a retest of support areas that we've got out here? Gap fills, possibly hitting this weekly uptrend line. We're at the edges, so once the decision is made as to which way we're going to go from the edge, that's when we kind of load up. So if we pop and give a higher low on the daily, weekly time frame above this year flip, that's when we target the top part of this range, 42 area. Of course, first stop is the higher highs on the week, which is our 32, 33 area and 35, 36 area. These are areas that we've been pointing out for since the beginning of our videos, as levels to possibly target on this next push up. So just continue to watch things. Week perspective, it's not giving us a whole bunch other than we're still leaning bullish. Come down to the day. We did make a higher, I'm sorry, not a higher low, a two up on the day. But again, remember this lower low was after a higher high, so it's just making a broadening formation here, and we just need to see, are we going to go back up to the top of it? Are we coming back down to it? Are we going to, if we do come back down, are we going to bounce, maybe where this weekly uptrend line intersects with the daily broadening? If we break through, then, we go fill this gap. And if we fill this gap, are we going to try and go fill this one and reach the longer term weekly uptrend line? Who knows? But we're in, it's just another reason why we're not, putting a lot of money short overnight, or a lot of money, calls overnight. We do have quite a few calls for July. What is next? July 25th? Yeah, 25th. I'm sorry, is next month, next week's expiration, as well as we've started to build a pretty decent position on calls expiring August 1st as well. So we've got plenty of short-term type of trades out there. If you know our style, we're not just big 0 DTE guys, or high risk overnight swings or anything like that. Even if this isn't that high of risk, we've got pretty good structure. We had the failed two down hammer yesterday. We've got the two up, pretty much hammer action there. So it looks like we should still go to the upside, but no need to over leverage yourself in a position when, like we said, we're coming to the top of a range, so we could reverse, we could explode out. We need to make price needs to make a decision first, right? The bulls and bears need to fight it out, and once we figure that out, that's when we'll go longer. But if you follow us on Twitter or on X, we do tweet our day trades, in real time as they're happening, scalps and day trades. So if you followed us on X this morning, you would have saw us get money on scalps to the upside in the morning. We entered calls again after getting a higher low on the 15 minute time frame, but at that point the market ended up going sideways, or at least price action for SOXL ended up going sideways. So we did stop. I want to say stop out, but we sold before close with a negative 2% loss on the second set of calls. The first set of calls, we made a little over 20%. So all in all, a good day. We made profit. Like I said, we still have our longer term swings. They're maintaining value. We're not continuing to pull back, so we're not back at these highs, but we're maintaining value and slowly pushing up. So maintaining from that perspective. If we take a look at the 15, just to get a decent idea as to what happened during the day, we had the initial push down. We got down to I think we actually did the 1 minute again. Yeah, if you check our Twitter, X, I'm old, Twitter, X, whatever. If you look at our X page, you saw that we went with the scalps, so they were expirations of next week. We could have went for this week, but next week gives you a little bit more to go off of. A little bit more like breathing room, because we were getting in below. Opening print was up here, but we decided to take the 1-2 down combo 2 up. So when this price breached the high of this 2 candle, this not failed, but this 2 down candle right here, we did get in, and then it didn't break any rules. It didn't violate any lower lows on the way up, so we just rode it on up. We sold all but one contract here, let a runner run. Well, actually, I don't want to say here because I know we didn't get the tip top of that move. But once we went 2 down here, I was looking at it as, okay, we're close enough to closing the gap that we probably got a majority of that move, which is why we took off all but one contract. We stayed in it. We closed the gap even more up here, and we went ahead and took profit. I forgot to look at our Twitter, but I think it was after the lower high. Yeah, here, and this candle. So after this candle broke below this candle for the to lock in that lower high, we went ahead and sold. So profit was basically the same as our first. The runner didn't get any more. Was a little disappointed we didn't let the runner run all day, but we knew that you know our plan before executing the buy of the contracts was we're getting in here with the scalpers mindset of not overstaying our welcome because we have other contracts that expire next week, August 1st, August monthly, and so on. So no need to do anything crazy, give up any extra profits. Well, because while yes, we did come back up here to the top, it violated plenty of rules on the 1 minute as well as the 5 minute, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go in here. Yeah, so we got a lower high, higher high, lower low, lower high, or no, that's higher high, but we did get a lower low there. So, just a lot of chop during the day. We entered another set of contracts here when we went 2 down, 2 up. But I was actually a little bit late getting in on that. So I think I got in more around like the gap close area. It was kind of pushing at that time too, so implied volatility kind of spiked at that when I was buying. So all in all, I just didn't get a good entry. But I got in about here. I didn't want to hold it till the very end of the day, so I think it was this. Yeah, so it went 1, 2 down. I was looking for 1, 2 down, 2 up, but it went 2 down again. I had to stop at just below the bottom of this candle anyway, so it didn't get stopped out because I had a little bit of cushion, but I saw the 2 down. I'm like, that's enough for me today on those, so let's just get out of them. Like I said, a -2% loss, so no biggie. We got the majority of the gap close, if not all of the gap close. Yeah, we got more than just the gap close because we entered on a risky move in our eyes, even though it was a 1, 2 down, 2 up that we did enter off of. It was more risky in our book than what we usually take. So yeah, we entered below the gap. We got to basically the gap close. So it's no big deal that we gave up 2% on the other contracts that we got in. So all in all, like I said, a good day. Look at things from the 1 hour time frame. So we went in, we did set a lower high on the 1 hour with this candle because this green 3 that came after it initially went 2 down. So we got a lower high there. Am I looking at the wrong page? Yeah. Okay. We're looking at the right date. So so we got the 2 down, but then we got it went higher low basically when it went 3. So that kept things kind of bullish. You may say this is a flag or whatever. I just call it consolidation. It held this support, so I see it as more bullish consolidation, which would kind of go align with a bull flag. But from the hour perspective, we're trying to reclaim an uptrend. Remember, we got into a downtrend here. We were able to get out of it today, right? So that's why I keep my my lines updated throughout the day. So that's why that one's gone. But we're trying one higher low and higher high does not make a trend line. We need to get another higher low in here. So if we can get a 2 up and then go higher than this to get a higher high, that we're looking at higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. That's a real type of trend. Now we kind of look at breaking this year flip, fully getting out of this monthly downtrend line, fully getting above this weekly broadening formation, and looking more towards the top of this daily broadening formation to see if we can push higher. Again, remember, options expiration is tomorrow. We're coming towards the end of bullish seasonality for tech, right? That end of July and then August are usually the worst performing parts of the year for tech, so you want to keep that in mind. It's another reason why we're not piling in calls right now that are, you know, August 1st expiration, or even really adding to our August 15th expiration. So we're just kind of waiting to see how it plays. Intraday, we're just playing the price, whether it be up or down. Just getting profit that way. 4 hour, we went ahead and put in a lower high as well, but again, it was following a higher high. So we're just trying to reestablish that trend. We haven't got the lower high yet like we did on the hour. So that's, keep in mind this can turn into just a lower high, and we can push back down to a lower low tomorrow if people sell off for options expirations, if there's somebody's earnings that are horrible, if the economic numbers that drop tomorrow are hot. We could push back down and make this a lower high, but until that happens, we'll just keep playing it by ear. And with that, I think we should go ahead and set our 4 hour markers and go ahead and update our notes. Tonight's episode probably won't be too long, just because there wasn't a lot of volatility today. It was just got a more of a trendy day up, at least in the morning, and then the consolidation in the afternoon, which I kind of like. It doesn't make for great second. Oh my goodness, come on, Thinkorswim. Doesn't make for a good second day trade throughout the day, or second scalp, but it gives us the consolidation we need from more like a 4 hour and daily perspective, and gives us a better setup coming into tomorrow. So let's go ahead and move the 4 hour down trigger to the low of the second 4 hour of today. Get our previous low a day. Oops. Activate previous low a day. Move that to today's low. All right. Let's go over here to the day trades chart. That was our scalping chart. Remove today's opening print. Activate the 4 hour up trigger. Move that to the high of today's second 4 hour candle. Take previous high a day, move it to today's high. Let's get this 4 hour trigger down. Put that on the low of today's second 4 hour candle, and then we'll grab the previous low a day and move it to today's low. All right, so just like that, we've got all of our 4 hour levels laid out. Let's go to the swing chart real quick to remove this opening print. We're going to remove the gap that we closed today as well. I think we had it on this chart. Yeah, we did. Remove that. Let's go back to our scalpers chart. Remove that gap. And on our day trade chart, remove the gap. Okay, so we're all set up there. The one thing we do need to do is change our day's expected move. So to do that, we go to our options chains. We can see that July 25th, July 18th, 25 this week, the expected move for the rest of the week is 1.168, 1.17. So take that. Let's get our notes out. Duplicate this. Make this Friday. It's July 18th. The notes are from the 17th. Tomorrow there will be 113 trading days left. We closed at 27.32. And we can remove the gap. 27. Right, since we closed that gap. So on the 4 hour, let's mark it out. 1.17. So if we take, what is this? 27.32 plus 117. That is 28.49. And if we go 27.32 minus 117, that's 26.15. Oops, 15. So we'll take that. Let's go back over here. Oops. So let's edit this. Let's put that there just so we have it. Move those up 3 days. Make our substitutions. Take that, get it out of here, and we moved our expected move for tomorrow, right? Let's do that over here on our scalp chart. And then we got that one marked in there, so there's our expected move. Let's just go to our swing chart, just because we use this sometimes as well on the intraday trades. And put those in there. There we have it. Our expected move has been moved for all of those. So let's go back to our day trade chart. We're in here on the 4 hour. So let's get our notes together and get ready for tomorrow. So the trigger for the 2-1-2 down is going to be 27.22, and this is a 2 up red one. Yeah, 2 up red one, 2 down. We'll just put this over here like this just to hold our place. So the magnitude is the low of this, so 26.42, and we'll have an extended target of 26.17 and 25.84. Alright, so let's look at the upside. So the trigger for the upside is the high here, so that's 27.44. With the magnitude of the high of the previous candle, which is 27.51. 27.51. Oops. Let's get it together, Chris. All right. So our first target, extended target, is 28.46, 28.68, 29 flat. Right. So the magnitude of the strat on the 4 hour is the trigger for the 1 day, same to the downside. And if we look on the day chart, we would have a 2 up, 2 down. Let's make this a little bigger for everyone to see. Alright. So we would have 2 up, 2 down. That triggers there with a magnitude of 24.91. And we've got our other targets left over from previously. Alright, so this would be a 2 down, failed 2 down, combo 2 up for us here. Trigger 27.51, magnitude of 28.46, right? And we can leave our targets out there. We're still not above that 27.73, so we're not marking this bold. It's not in force. But you can see, just like that, we've got our notes, right? We know that if a trigger triggers to the downside on the 4 hour in the beginning of the day, we know what our targets are, right? Magnitude, then extended targets. Same as if a strat triggers to the upside. We've got our trigger, we've got our magnitude, and we've got our targets, right? If things continue to go and it triggers the day, we've got our trigger, and then we've got our magnitude, and we've got extended targets. Same to the downside. Alright, we've already triggered the 2 up on the week, so we're just trying to hit that target. 30 would be pretty lofty for tomorrow. I don't think that would happen. I'm pretty positive that wouldn't happen. But also 24.62, turning it to a red 3, I don't think would happen either. So I think worst case scenario, the week could turn like a red doji, but I don't think that will have any significant, like inverted hammer or anything like that. So those are the plays that I'm looking at for tomorrow. Again, do your own research. Double check what I'm putting out here. If you see something I'm not seeing, definitely let me know. But these are the levels I'm looking at. Again, follow us on X and throughout the day, and keep up with our real-time trades, entries, and exits, and you know, just continue to profit with us, right? So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe. Um, you know, give the video a like. Doesn't cost anything, but I'm actually more interested in comments than likes. So likes are one thing, that's great, whatever. I have my opinion anyway. I don't really go off of what others think of the charts, but I do like to have discussions, because other people can open my minds to other things. But this is how my trading method is set up. So I'm not going to have my feelings hurt if it's not a method you want to choose. But I am open to discussion about the method, especially if it's respectful. So if you did like it and you didn't have any problems with it, just give it the thumbs up. Maybe give it a comment saying you liked it. But if there's something that you'd like to discuss, even if it's not a disagreement of anything I'm analyzing, go ahead and hit me up in the comments, and I'll be glad to discuss. Other than that, study your charts tonight. Watch the market as a whole. SOXL isn't everything. We have plenty of money in other places, but we just wanted to bring the light to a pretty useful money generating vehicle for us in trading SOXLs, price action. So everybody have a good rest of the night. Have a good Friday. Hope everybody has a good trading day. But if you're like us, you take Fridays kind of light on trading and just try and enjoy the day, and bring the work day to a wrap, and get ready for the weekend to enjoy time with friends, family. Do a little bit of self-reflection, a little bit of maybe education, things of that nature. But just have a good rest of the weekend. So again, everybody have a good night, and I'll look forward to speaking to you tomorrow.